There's a style of thinking called convergent thinking, where you put firm boundaries on things, you have clear variables, and you tie up all of the loose ends, so to speak. You bring everything together into one neat little package where, as best as you can account for everything. The opposite of that is divergent thinking, where you start with something small and then it explodes outwards into all sorts of possibilities. And it's going to be quite an abstract thing to talk about. An example of this sort of idea, whether you'd call this divergent thinking or not, might depend on your personal philosophies. But C.S. Lewis famously came up with the Narnia books, which is a set of seven books, I think, and turned into a series of movies. Legendary work of fiction. It started with this image that he had of, I think it was a deer walking through the snow under a street lamp holding a briefcase or something. And from this one image spilled out an entire cosmos with like the Narnia series. And it really shows what's possible when you're willing to take the boundaries of things and you're willing to just explore what emerges and what comes out of what it is that you're working with. It can be really quite a fascinating way of thinking. And of course, it's excellent for innovation and creativity. Yeah, a common approach to get you thinking along these lines is what they call an alternative use exercise. Now, you've probably even done this sort of thing if you've been involved in workshops or creative thinking exercises, where it's something that you get a question like, "Give me 50 uses for a brick." So you're starting with something that's quite contained, the brick. And what does a brick do? Well, it's part of a wall, or you can use it as some sort of doorstop or something. But by the time that you get to your 20th use, you really need to dig deep in order to think of new ways of using it. And this digging deep and getting a little bit absurd with it helps you tap into this divergent thinking frame of mind. Of course, the issue with this is that you're getting very good about thinking divergently around a brick or whatever the toy example is. And yes, this helps you get into that playful, creative state of mind. But it's much better to focus on what the actual problem is. If you want to apply divergent thinking to a problem that you have, then I recommend that you start with the problem. And there's all sorts of ways you can do this, but one way that works quite well is that you analyze the problem, you break it down into its components. Like where are the opportunities within this? Where are the biggest risks? And if you break it down into all these little variables that make up the problem, then you apply divergent thinking to that. So if there's a risk, for example, you might ask yourself, what are 50 ways that we can turn this into an opportunity? If you have an asset, what are 50 ways we can use this asset? We really recommend focusing in on what is going to be the most useful to you, which tends to be things like how can we better serve our clients and customers with what we have? Or the flip side of that question, what are 50 things that our clients and customers need but aren't getting? We'll apply this sort of thinking directly to the problem, and things begin to move much quicker and smoother.